Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Overwatch Open Division EU section, where we are reaching the home stretch before the playoffs, and we are all excited here. I'm your host, Bemi. Joined with me today are my wonderful analyst, Spaceman Neori. How are you guys doing today, Neori?
Doing pretty damn good. Saw a spicy 3-2 game for our first game of the day, so I'm excited to see if this game is going to be just as...
Fair enough. Spaceman, you doing all right too?
Oh, I'm doing very, very well. It's good to have you on the desk as well, Bemi. You know, we might have a little bit of a beard off later, see who grows the most during the broadcast.
A little bit of a catch-up, but we'll see. I'll take that bet any day. But either way, speaking of bets, one is trying to safely assure themselves a spot in the playoffs. One is right now 7-1. The other one is 8-1, based off our current information. But at the moment, it looks like it is going to be Gamers League on the 8-1 situation, with also seeing that this is going to be Aesir on the 7-1. One wants to really just confirm it. The other one really wants to make sure that they confirm it. 100 SR difference, looking like Gamers League has the 100 SR less than Aether, but however have been having the longest longevity of a team at the moment. 3 months, where the other team has been around for a month and a half. And we see a lot of open division teams sort of come together just because of open division and kind of disband afterwards. But what would you say, Neori, is like sort of the difference between a team that's been around before open division and a team that sort of has come together for open division? And what is sort of that synergy difference like?
So if you've been a team for a long time, if you've been through a few seasons together and you've practiced together and you have your VOD review sessions from nights and you're practicing for 8+ hours a week, then yeah, you 100% have an advantage over a team that only got together about a month ago. That's not to say that you are definitely the superior team. We've seen it a lot before, where we've had these teams that have been together for 5 minutes and never practice and managed to win it all. Case in point, Shoes Money Crew, Season 2 NA. You know, they spent the entire Open Division season running Mythic Plus dungeons in World of Warcraft. And they came through and they just swept through the whole of the North American Open Division scene. So, yes, it does make... Well, okay, but Shoes Money Crew EU actually did practice. they were, they weren't the ones playing World of Warcraft. So, yes, having that practice is very, very important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. Synergy comes from so much more than just practicing together. It comes from your relationship with your teammates. It comes from the quality of your communication. There's so much that needs to be involved. And also the quality of your compositions. You could be together for 6 years, but if your compositions don't make any sense, you're not going to be doing much. So, yeah. Yeah,
very true. Spaceman, anything to interject with that?
Well, I completely agree. You know, play more World of Warcraft, get better at Overwatch. But no, in all seriousness, all of the players today are going to be mechanically skilled, right? They're of that level. They're all above 4K here. That 100 SR difference isn't going to matter as much as coordination and communication here. And teams that have been around a little bit longer, like Gamers League have, just have that, I think, a little bit of an edge coming into this. But as you say, anything could happen here. As an esport could come in here and completely prove me wrong here. But I think if I had to make a prediction, probably Gamers League have the slight edge here. Maybe we'll see another 3-2. I certainly hope so.
Mayhap so, but before we can get to the best of 5, we have to get to the best of 3. And starting on Busan, which is still sort of an uncharted map for many teams, and we'll see how this works out. So, without being ado, let's just jump right into it. Before we go into it, though, I want to hear, what are your score predictions? Neori?
3-2 to Gamer League.
Spaceman?
Well, I said 3-2 to Gamers League earlier, so I think I'm going to stick with that position. But I might change that at half-time. We'll see.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but we only can wait and see if we send it over to our caster. So let's send it on over to the wonderful Big Hungry Phil and LaFon.
Thank you very much, Bemi. Yeah, pleasure to be here. How's it going, LaFon?
It's a good day for some Overwatch, and Open Division Season 2019 Season 1. We are in the last weekend. This is going to be where teams make their mark. They have, this is the last opportunity to set yourself up for playoffs. And I'm super excited to see what they bring to us. Control will be our first map here, Phil. So should be interesting.
As Bemi said, relatively uncharted, one of the newer maps in the newest map in the map pool, unless I'm completely missing something. So it's going to be interesting to see which of the various angles of attack our teams take here. So I mean, there are obviously a few things that we're maybe expecting to see here. What would be your prediction for what's about to come at us?
I mean, for our viewers from the last match, if that is anything to go by, anything can be the case because we saw a triple sniper composition last match alongside the May Ghost at 700 points, but I would not be surprised to see tank compositions come out. Busan is, especially some of the more indoor maps, can favor those tank comps pretty significantly. So we will get a chance in a moment to see how the team's set up. It looks to be the Torb. I guarantee you that is going to come out. No one is going to switch off of it. It's not going to be a thing. They will play it for sure.
This is going to be the first time in the history of casting Open Division that we were talking, oh, look, you know, you threw to me, and they changed instantly. So
I blame you for that. I said he was going to play it, and then you started, you know, it's just wasn't to be, I guess.
I started justifying it, and in came the change. So we're actually seeing sort of a heavy lineup. We got that May in there against, what, is this a mirror matchup? I can't quite make that out.
Yeah, it looks like a mirror matchup. Both teams dropping the D.Va for the May instead. The walls being so useful in this tight enclosure fill as the two teams slowly get to know each other. Here on the high ground.
So obviously just tussling for position at the minute, waiting for a couple of cooldowns to come in and out of the mix. And it looks like Gamers League getting a little bit of early aggro here, going for a rotation straight onto point. Going to look to use that May wall to try and freeze a couple of people out. Yet there we go, just the Reinhardt and the Brigitte to set it out. But of course a counter wall there, and the early wall there from Gamers League ensuring a series of kills. We've just got the Zarya left on the field and the Zenyatta, sorry, my bad. And that's going to be all over, bar the crying. One team fight, one heavily in favor of Gamers League there.
That all starts because Gamers League gets the better wall off first. They section off the tanks, they're able to get a little bit more damage in, and though Aesir comes back with their own version of that May wall, they're unable to find value because their tanks are already so weak, and so Gamers League just snowballs that back into a fight win, and using the wall to get in here on the high ground.
Yeah, that's certainly an interesting angle approach. They're going for this really, really wide rotation, getting right back onto the chute above where the mechas are actually stored, looking to come and get an alternate angle of attack, trying to stick to this high ground. Again, teams just sort of jockeying for position. Nobody really wants to get in range of that Reinhardt hammer just yet, and certainly not in range of that May freezer. Hammer down comes out early. That's going to ensure a couple of kills. So we've got 2 on the field, 3 on the field, 4 goes down on the back of 1 hammer down. Really, really good stuff from Gamers League there. Tight and aggressive.
Good old-fashioned Earth Shatter there. No Brig stun, actually, as they don't even get the rotation around the shield. The Ryan Suna just comes in, sees an opportunity, takes it. That's all of them hit the ground, so they win that team fight. And now this next fight here is going to be pretty interesting. They do have the Graviton Surge, do Gamers League, so they do have an opportunity. And that wall locks out about half.
Yeah, but there we go. Out comes the Graviton Surge, and that's another 1 ult team fight. Look at that, 3 straight on the back of that Graviton Surge. And the aggression here coming out from Gamers League, chasing them right the way back to spawn, looking to secure another couple of kills. And Gamers League here still with an ultimate advantage coming into this next fight.
The thing that is happening that's pretty sketchy here for Aesir is that they've lost every fight here super cleanly without even gaining more than 2 ultimates out. They're going to begin their rotation down now, trying to bait out that wall, and actually somewhat successful at it.
Yeah, the wall comes out early. We have seen a couple of people on Gamers League drop to critical condition, but still Aesir not quite able to close the distance, still playing from this high ground, looking to try and get a couple of ults in. The rally is committed, hammer down, and the Graviton comes in on top of it. The Transcendence, nothing going to come out of that with all of that bulk healing online, a second Transcendence, and we have seen a kill come in. First kill of that exchange. May taking on May, but it's coming back and forth. The second sound barrier coming out here. This is really just all in. They realize now Aesir Esports have to win this fight, and it looks like they may just do that. They've got the numbers advantage. They've just got to keep pressing here. Only people left on point. Huge manages to take down mid destroyed. That's huge. Taking out the Reinhardt this late in the fight could mean they manage to bring out this stall. But maybe not quite enough. The Aesir looking to have invested a lot in that fight, but may finally have capped the point.
We didn't get a chance to mention this earlier, but the second support ultimate often wins out, or the later ultimate wins out, and that's the case here. They dump, I think, 5 ultimates, maybe even 6 into that last fight. And actually, no, they do dump 6 ultimates into that last fight. What am I saying there? Aesir, they do, and they win that one out, as they should. But now, it's dry fight v dry fight. So the first team to win out of that first pick is going to have a very large advantage moving in here.
Yeah, and we're back into this footsie game once again, and we've seen actually in the dry push, Gamers League did take the advantage on that first hit. Aesir Esports having to give up a lot of space, backing away from the dangerous influx of Gamers League, just getting back on point, but an early kill there. SFX taking out his opposite number on the Lucio. Bait out the Transcendence. Transcendence coming out, not really doing a lot to counter anything in particular, but we have got the opposite Transcendence online. It's going to be scrappy. They're going to start getting in on top of this Graviton committed with the Transcendence and the Blizzard as well. Man, they're just throwing things at this fight and hoping for best. Gamers League looking like they're coming out on top, though.
I hate to reduce a fight down to ultimates because it sort of mitigates some of the skill that's involved in these team fights, but you know, when you dump 4 ultimates in a fight, you're often going to come out on top, and that Transcend is just not enough to shut down the Graviton, the Shatter, the Blizzard. It's a really well-fought opportunity there for Gamers League, and they do take our round 1 here. One of the things that's happening, I'm thinking, is that both these teams are playing very conservatively, in fact. There's not a lot of aggression, and when there is that moments of aggression, it's just very tempered. They're not overstepping their bounds. They're playing very close to the chest, and they're trying to win out fights off as little as possible. And so it's been pretty successful. But now I think if you're Aesir, you gotta up the tempo just a little bit. Force Gamers League to sweat in terms of how they approach fights, because they have chosen every single engage so far and have done basically whatever they want throughout the map.
Yeah, it does seem like Gamers League maybe have the edge in aggression, but we're coming up against another mirror matchup here with this Zen variation on the triple tank, triple support lineup. Gamers League looking to take some early position around Drum, and it's going to be very much a case here of who can bait out the cooldowns first and just start raining some damage in on top of that. I do like Gamers League's position here. They've got slightly more control of the point than Aesir Esports. Aesir Esports kind of on the back foot, not really looking to play around this Drum particularly well. Still no, point just about to unlock. We are still 0 kills for 0 kills in this team fight. They're taking a long time to get anything done. Really, someone needs to push aggro here and go and actually start getting a couple of kills on the feed. Here we go, Gamers League ramping up the aggression, starting to push, getting a couple of key kills, and that's team fight over surely at this point.
We're going to see SFX here just up. There goes. Taken down there at the end. This is one of the things that makes Zen Goat so very frustrating to play against, is as soon as that Discord Orb is applied, you have to play incredibly passively just due to the sheer shredding power that it provides. And there, the Discord is applied to, you know, MT Destroy, and they're unable to really be able to push in there. And Suna has the advantage in the Ryan v Ryan battle. You know, is able to take control, take positioning, and then they just win out based on the fact that they build rally first. So right now, Gamers League very much in the driver's seat.
Yeah, we did actually. Everything was so quick and furious. We didn't see that rally come out. But yeah, that's going to make it even harder for Aesir to try and crack the nut there. The hammer down comes out, gets two supports in it, and there we go. We're starting to see some serious frags here from the Zenyatta on the side of Aesir Esports. A couple of really key picks there with the main tank and support coming down. This is absolutely Aesir Esports' fight to win, and they've done it so far with only 1 ult committed to the fight. So yeah, here we go, cleanup. Really well done.
I want to highlight MT Destroy there, because he lives up to his name in excellence, comes in with the Shatter, knocks down 4, and then blocks the self-destruct, allowing their team to walk back into the fight. Excellent work there from the main tank, using just the Earth Shatter to nullify the self-destruct and winning the fight out for them.
Yeah, some really good positioning from the Xenon side of Aesir Esports, playing around this frag in the middle. And that's a huge bomb. Huge bomb gets 2 tanks in the lineup. That's such good value. That's going to let Aesir Esports really push Gamers League right the way back. For a team that looked pretty passive in that last round, they had taken real advantage of this newfound aggression, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
Scarlet and Scarlet combining for a Graviton self-destruct combo. I'm going to make use of that a little bit more often, I hope. That's a good name to duo, actually.
Here we go, but we have got the rally committed.
Oh, it's denied.
Oh, wow, bashed out. That's unfortunate. Graviton eaten by Scarlet. That's huge value. Sound barrier comes out, but a hammer down coming in on top of it manages to take a couple people out the fight. So we're seeing lots of ultimates committed without any real progress made in that fight. Another Transcendence online. People just swinging away and hoping for the best here. It's sort of difficult to decide who has the upper hand here. Of course, Aesir Esports just have to try and stall this out. Ultimate Online, we do have that Diva Bomb ready to go from Gamers League, but that's the first pick. Gamers League in a huge Fire Strike takes out 2. The Knight and his Squire falling down in 1 Fire Strike. That's going to spell the end for Aesir Esports, surely.
I would say so. That map is the sub map is going to flip over here at the very last as they get to that 70-ish% mark, 72 as the end. And running through now, this ult combination is coming online. They have the tank ultimates, which are very, very important, as Scarlet and Scarlet build towards their duo. And conveniently, the 2 off tanks have the same name. So
we're talking about a off tank at some point. It doesn't matter which particular one. So yeah, this ultimate use, I think, in this next fight is going to be absolutely vital to trying to win this team fight. There we go. We've seen it before. It's the Graviton and the Diva Bomb coming in. Nothing out of the Diva Bomb, but Scarlet and Mount Destroy getting 2 of their own there without the need for any ultimate on top of that. Pretty good value there. We've got Scarlet just playing on top of the drum, attempting to stay out of range of the fight and just raining damage where they can. But yeah, Aesir Esports coming right back, roaring into this team fight, looking to get a pretty quick retake there. One
of the things that is somewhat underlooked in this current meta is just how little value self-destruct combo and Graviton Surge can get if the bubbles are timed well. That being said, if you have the follow-up damage, the bomb does not actually need to do any. Does not need to get any kills, as an Urshar there blocked from Tsuna.
So Rally and Sound Barrier coming out at exactly the same time. It's going to be very hard for anybody to get through any of that incredibly powerful healing. But the main tank going down early for Aesir Esports, that's going to be really, really important here without all that health pool and shielding to really help your team. Graviton Surge committed, looking to get a couple caught in there. Gamers League managing to get a couple out of that. That's going to be pretty big. Diva Bomb coming out for the fight. It needs to be big if it's going to do anything, and it is. It gets 2. It takes down off tanks, and it takes out the Diva mech coming down. So Aesir Esports, with everything to play for here, could just scrape this win, but no, it's not going to be enough. Gamers League, with huge aggression, they're coming out from pretty much everybody on the team, and I didn't even spot it. We've had this swap onto the Wrecking Ball. Wrecking Ball coming in, looking to try and build some time for his team back in to get the stall. Is it going to be enough, Lafon?
It most likely will not, as he's the only one left alive. Lucy does come back into contest, but not for very much longer, as the Wrecking Ball stunned, discorded, and taken out of the fight. The flip will come over, Scarlet will go down, and with a self-destruct, no one can even contest here. Yeah. Phil, it's really likely to be the end of this map.
I think it's everyone sort of quickly switching to the stall heroes and just managing to get enough, just refreshing that overtime cooler down with the Tracer pick coming into the point, but of course such a small health pool. If you've got a Discord orb, you are going to go down super quick, and Gamers League clearing up here. Incredibly well fought, I think, by Aesir Esports. But oh, a big shatter comes in, but there's just nobody left on point to really capitalize on it, and that is game over. Gamers League take Busan.
Map number 1 is down. We head now into map number 2. Gamers League will take our lead in the series. An excellent first start, as they are pretty confident, and they're pretty, I would say, uncontested in how they approached the both sub-maps. They ran on Mecha Base. They were much more aggressive. Here we see that Shatter coming in, just swinging away. There's no one to contest him. And then of course, on Sanctuary, it was a little bit more even. I will say this, it was a little bit more even. They did have the combos going back and forth, but ultimately not enough to win it out at the very end.
It seemed to me like Aesir Esports almost took a lesson from Gamers League on that first map and went, oh, okay, aggression is the key, and brought a lot more of that out to bear in that second map. So maybe what we're seeing here is a team starting to warm up a little bit in this map. You know, it's high stakes. You know, only a couple of weekends away from playoffs and eventually finals. So maybe a little bit of nerves that we're seeing burnt off here in these early maps. Maybe we'll see Aesir take a bit of a better footing coming into this next one.
Yeah, for sure. We are going to throw to a quick break, though, as we are experiencing some technical difficulties. When we return, we'll be back into map 2 immediately, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back. Technical difficulties well and truly ironed out now. So yeah, as I was saying before, we had to throw very quickly to a break there. Aesir Esports looking like they're maybe starting to warm up. Don't know if you agree with that assessment of the performance so far.
I mean, the first sub-map wasn't particularly close, but as we saw on Sanctuary, it did get a little more competitive, so I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I think Aesir has the opportunity to bring this one back. This is going to be, I think, a close match through the latter half of this set as we head into Route 66, and you know, some shenanigans were to be had on that first map of Busan. We saw the May Goats of all things, and actually, I shouldn't say of all things because that is pretty common on that particular mecha-based map. But I wonder if we're going to see a little quad DPS here, Phil.
It'd be fun. It would be nice to take a little break from that triple support, triple tank lineup that we seem to see every 3 games out of 4, let's call that. Certainly, we've seen some measure of success for that composition in contenders. But given the level of play that we've got here, are you really expecting to see that quad DPS, or are you hoping to see that quad DPS?
Hoping is not the word I'd use. I actually do enjoy... Here's a take. I enjoy watching goats. I do. I actually do like it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, you do you, buddy. You do you.
I will say this. For everyone groaning at home, there is a very good reason why. Goats is surprisingly deep. There's a lot inside that composition that can go wrong. You have to manage cooldowns between the Zarya and the Reinhardt and the Break. There's just so much micro play that goes into how Goats works that it can often look, if you're not really familiar with what you're seeing, to be looking at as brainless, but there is so much that goes into it on a micro level. And then the macro, of course, is so very interesting as well. So I do like watching Goats for its depth that, you know, perhaps we don't highlight too often, but is definitely there. And so our defense will, you know, indulge me, and they will be running that Goats composition. Our offense, they're running Goats too, but they're dropping the Diva, bringing the Mei back out. And so there'll be a little bit more ice on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they leverage that ice wall in this open space, or whether they're just looking to get in and start freezing some targets to make it easier for Reinhardt to hit things with his hammer. But look at this Aesir Esports aggressing right onto the payload, getting right in there, trying to force the attacking side straight into it. Wall comes out. Hard to tell really if anything was caught by that, but again, Aesir Esports, huge amount of aggression, are managing just to keep Gamers League slightly on the back foot here for now. There we go, an early kill there. Aesir Esports managing to find one, but of course, Respawn so heavily advantaged in favor of Gamers League, it doesn't matter quite so much. That's going to be a key kill, actually. Look at that, Scarlet going down fairly early on in that fight. That's going to be a long time before they can get back in, so Gamers League need to really pull up their boots and start charging in now.
The other thing to note, too, is that ult charge across the board is pretty high on Aesir's side. Gamers League, they do have a couple of ultimates coming online. They have the Self-Destruct, as well as the Transcendence, and of course, that Earth Shatter. So they do have some value, but look at this. Graviton and Mei combo available here for Aesir, as well as that Earth Shatter. So tools are available here for this next fight for them to be able to contest all the way through first.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see when this comes out. Of course, gotta watch out for that. Eva Hammer down comes down, gets quite a few in it, but the Transcendence immediately triggered. Sound Barrier coming in top of it. Graviton and Blizzard launch at the same time. That's gotta be a huge miscommunication, a huge investment of ultimates. Hammer down coming in for the follow-up. Aesir Esports finally starting to get some kills. That's a big price to pay for those kills, though.
They better get those kills after 4 ultimates. It would be incredibly disastrous if they didn't get them, right? They layer both support ultimates when arguably they didn't need to, but it's regardless, they are able to keep the fight going. That being said now, the only thing they have to contest this last point, there's going to be a recontest. The only thing they have is the rally, and it's going to be a really close fight.
Yeah, and here's that big old recontest. We've got 3 big ults online for Gamers League. How and when they're used. Diva Bomb coming out, looking to get a couple with that. Doesn't get anything. Does maybe do a little bit of damage to that Reinhardt shield. Whether it's enough to really make the difference remains to be seen. But a key kill there. Zarya on Zarya violence with Scarlet falling there. In fact, Brig on Brig violence. We're just going to see a fight of everyone taking out the opposite numbers. But look at this huge aggression from Citron on the Brigitte, forcing them right the way back, getting kill after kill. And Gamers League, on the back of a really scrappy-looking recontest, managed to do that.
This is what Overwatch sometimes comes down to. The team that has more ultimates wins, and unfortunately for Aesir, they only had the rally. That's not going to be enough when you dump, you know, Graviton Surge and Self-Destruct and Rally. It's just not going to do anything. So for Gamers League, they're happy that Aesir used so many ultimates, and now Scarlet's going to have to build this Graviton Surge up really quickly because this needs to be their win condition here.
Yeah, in fact, we are 5% away from getting that. We do have now a support ultimate online for Aesir Esports. Needs to be really careful about where they choose to take this fight and what they choose to invest. Mount Destroy there with the hammer down, ready to go and committed almost straight away. But you get an early kill in this fight with the Zenyatta taking out the Mei, and there we go. We're seeing it start to snowball once again. Main tank goes down. That's not a fight you can win at this point.
And this is like Aesir needs to reset here. They cannot lose any more time. 38 seconds remaining. And they are going to be going into a plethora of ultimates here on Gamers League's side. Again, that's going to be the 5 ultimates available. Actually, technically 6 as the remnants of Rally remain. So that is going to be a pretty awkward place to be. Again, this is going to have to be a Graviton Surge Mei ultimate combo. And they're going to have to finesse their way around this matrix of Hipura as well. So a lot in the works here for Gamers League as Aesir put themselves up against the wall. Both literally and figuratively here in this last fight.
You say finesse. I'm looking forward for the big, indelicate hammer, but there we go. Graviton committed, forces out the Transcendence. Diva Bomb coming out on top of it needs to be big if it's going to do anything here. And the huge Diva Bomb takes out main tank, takes out the Lucio as well. They are now 2 up in this fight. They've got to just keep battling this out here. We are now into the overtime tick. Just that Mei left on the point. It's not going to be enough. I think they're really going to struggle to get the recon test here. Gamers League, looking like they lost that first point, brought that back in absolutely storming fashion.
I have to say, as good as Gamers League have been, this is a little bit confusing for me for what Aesir completed in that last fight. To my knowledge, there was nothing to prevent the main tank from keeping his shield up, and yet it went down. I don't know if it broke, perhaps, but it went down, and then that's the end of the fight. You lose your main tank, you lose your diva, and you're just unable to complete the fight. It's curious to me, but I feel like Aesir take that fight a little too widely. They don't come in as cleanly as they should. Their combos aren't on par at all, and they get no value from it. Gamers League, though, all credit to them. You know, you've got the support ultimates to nullify the tank ultimates from Aesir. You come back in with the rally to sustain yourself even through it, and then win the fight out based off of a superior combination of ultimates. Gamers League are in the driver's seat, man, and they're doing a good job so far.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I was ready to call you out on having called that recon test coming in from Gamers League, but you are absolutely right. The speed and aggression that came in there, and the fact that they were able to force the cart so far back on the back of that recon test, really, really impressive stuff.
I think one of the things to note too is, just as a setup, is that right now Gamers League has set the tempo all match long. We're 2 maps in, barely. I mean, it's been a speed run so far, but they're 2 maps in, and they've basically set the tempo every single fight. Aesir needs to play. Honestly, I'd say just go all out, go scrappy, just throw things at the wall and see what happens, because fundamentally it comes down to the fact that right now Gamers League has had the full choice of fight timing, and Aesir needs to bring something here to the table.
Yeah, but who? Let's look at this Gamers League lineup. This is a double DPS. We've got a Wrecking Ball on the field. This is a crazy comp. Maybe Gamers League feeling a little bit confident here, deciding they can basically throw whatever they would like at Aesir Esports. So, and the pharmacy combo as well is going to be really big in picking apart the scopes.
It looks like they've been watching Chinese contenders a little bit. T1W, of course, winning that one out as of late. And they are very familiar with the Pharah comp. And Huge comes in and lives up to his name, taking the double kill at the very end. There's short trading kills out, but again, that favors the offense with the cart so close to spawn. Remember that. There isn't really a lot of space left for the defense to take away. And this fight has been very disastrous, in fact, as the staggered out kills continue. And
yeah, looks very much like they're struggling to deal with. I think maybe Aesir Esports were expecting just to have another GOAT-style composition thrown at them, and obviously that's not come to pass. Gamers League just pulling out that Pacific, that Chinese contenders sort of map. And look at this, we've got the Dragon online looking for a cheeky zoning Dragon as they all come through the point. No, it's not committed. Barrage there. Barrage manages to take out the Widowmaker, but not before. The Diva manages to find the Wrecking Ball, but at this point, if they can just have a cart force sitting on the cart, it doesn't really matter quite so much. Aesir Esports do manage to get a couple of key kills there, but only 1 ultimate online for them. It's going to be incredible. In fact, no ultimates online as the Sound Barrier gets committed into the fight, but it's not going to be enough to keep their main tank alive. Mount Destroy going down. Gamers League coming in for a really hasty recon test here. They've got 3 ultimates on their side, including that incredibly important defensive. Oh, Tuna swapping over onto the Winston there, looking to get in quite a bit of crowd control for his team there. Mercy with the gun out. It's a battle, Mercy, everybody. Not able to get anything from it, but always beautiful to see. Diva Bomb coming out, not able to find anything with it. is an incredibly scrappy fight, but we've got there a swap from Scarlet onto the Sombra. Just managed to get the D-Mech, but not before Huge takes out the main support, and this is going to be Gamers League rolling this all the way, surely.
It's going to be a very scrappy fight here, but with those last couple of kills, that will be it. And we will go into the half, in fact, with Gamers League taking a 2-0 lead, as there's no way at all for... there's no way for Aesir to contest, and there it goes. The self-destruct just in case. Gamers League will take the victory here on Route 66, putting themselves up 2-0 at the half. As, theoretically, Aesir had the right idea. You see that quad DPS comp, you switch to dive to theoretically deal with it, but their execution just not there, and it shows in the scoreline, as we're gonna see here. There's so much crowd control on the field that you actually can't see the animations keep up, which is pretty funny. But
yeah, it's certainly interesting, and I'm glad that your prediction came to light, and we actually saw some DPS lineups coming out on this. I mean, obviously, there's not a huge amount of space there, given how far Aesir were able to push the cart. But what would you have liked to have seen Aesir done on the defense that would have been maybe more effective in countering this DPS comp that was thrown at them?
Being less gratuitous with your ultimates. If you're winning the fight, there's no reason to throw 3 more ultimates after a fight that you've already won. Counter, there's no reason to throw 4 ultimates after a fight you've lost. You know, both these things are true. And it is one of the reasons why Aesir are in the hole this early on. But, you know, there are still maps to go. And they're all... If you haven't lost, you've still got a chance. So Aesir, 3 more maps possibly to keep their hopes alive. And Gamers League looking to close it up here on our 3rd map.
Yeah, let's not count them out just yet. And we are going to throw to our wonderful desk even more beards on screen for you coming up. Bemi, what did you think of that map, buddy?
Well, I'd like to say that it is pretty spectacular, the second map. It was very interesting to see, not in the sense that it was extremely close, if you will, but either way. So folks, we saw in Busan seemed pretty close for the most part, mainly on Temple, and then on the second map, things got a little bit interesting. We were really starting to see the age show in a good way, in a sense, for specifically Gamers League, as they happen to have a unique presence. Naori, what do you think we got going on here?
So I would like to start by saying that I feel terribly left out, being the only on-screen talent without a beard.
You can
I've been trying to grow it.
Hair to, like...
Dude, I've been trying to grow it for months, and it just doesn't seem to be working out. And my hair isn't long enough to like make it work. You know, like anyway, maybe next year, Reddit. Anyway, so let's get into this map, right? So something that I really noticed, you spoke a little bit about the age issue, and you're absolutely right. It's something that we saw with Aesir, they're the slightly newer team. Their shot calling wasn't exactly where it should be. They weren't calling out those targets. They weren't focusing them down fast enough. And that's definitely something that comes with practice. We spoke about it. All the practice in the world doesn't mean much unless you've got that shot calling down. And the shot calling just comes with a little bit more time and a little bit more focus. Something else that I noticed was a little bit upsetting was the over-investing of ultimates, also from Aesir. And I think it also comes down to being a slightly newer team. There were moments there where they were just throwing ultimates with absolutely no thought or regard for why they need to use the ultimate. Every ultimate has a purpose. Every ultimate has a reason. You can't just throw it out just because I feel like hitting Q. Everybody else is hitting Q. Let's make it a party. You have to consider it first. So those were the 2 big things that I noticed on those 2 maps.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Spaceman, let's talk a little bit more about those ults, because we did see earlier in Busan, both had pretty good ult management. And then where did it happen in Route 66?
Well, I think Route 66, I think we saw some overall strategy, actually, from Gamers. I mean, the ult economy was just that little bit better, yes. But we saw the early hold, right, with that heavy composition, and it allowed them 3 contests on that first point. And it was the 3rd contest that they won out with and managed to stop the payload. So loved the meta strategy from them there. And yeah, ult usage was a little bit better. Cooldown management was good. And also their soft disengages, once they'd used the Zarya bubbles and some of the Diva Defense Matrix, etc., they were willing just to pull back a little bit, let their cooldowns reset, and then re-engage when they had the advantage. So great showing there. I think I might even rename these guys to the League of Extraordinary Gamers, if I may. But I wouldn't count the Aesir out, right? That's the Aesir are Norse gods, and we could see a reverse sweep here, which would be quite a saga.
Well, something else I just wanted to bring up was also on Route 66. Gamers League got incredibly aggressive on their defense. And I think my Skype just crashed. So rip camera. They got very aggressive on their very own defense. And it seemed like they were going to get completely rolled over. But then Aesir came back, and they, again, with the overutilization of ultimates, they were able to bring it back. And that just comes down to, there's the contradiction of the two ways to play and the two big mistakes that are being made. And it feels like the one mistake came out a little bit worse off than the other. And I'm back. Hello.
Welcome back. And well, we welcome those also opinions, because those are very valid. Again, like Naori said earlier, these ults are very valuable. As we can see, they can turn the tide of a battle. We were expecting the first point to go very much in the way of normally, Acer Esports just, normally attack kind of gets this in the end. But the fact that they managed to hold it big earls, it's kind of rare seeing at this point of Open Division. But either way, let's focus on the sort of half glass full sides. What are some positive things that you saw from both sides that you want to see them act upon more to be able to either finish this off in the 3-0 fashion or take this to Game 5? Naori.
Wow. Positive things. There were quite a few, and it's so difficult to kind of point them out. You're kind of trained to look for the mistakes.
Very true.
What I will say is that overall, it seems like Gamers League are pretty good on their synergy and their teamwork. So I like that. If they can keep going with that, then they'll definitely go far. Something that I also would like to see is a little bit more flexibility in compositions. Other than that, keep it up, guys. You're doing well.
Fair enough, Face Man.
Well, Aesir get the map choice now, so that's going to give them a slight advantage here. I think they're pretty much on par with Gamers League. It's just the little things here, all the little things that are adding up to Gamers League's advantage. But as I said, Aesir have the map choice now, and who knows, might see a reverse sweep.
Fair enough. Who is to tell? But we are going to go in Japan to see what's going to happen. And man, I'm really hungry for some more Overwatch action. So let's send it on over to Big Hungry Phil and LaFawn.
I have to say the awkward pause there is because reacting to Bemi's transitions is always interesting.
Yeah, it's one of these skills you really have to work at if you're going to be casting this sort of game.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I want to put it out there. I do enjoy them. It's just that it takes me a moment to sort of bring myself back up to speed in terms of how to react. Yeah, most often not just stunned silence, which is...
Yeah, absolutely no shade at Bemi at all. It's good that he's keeping us on our toes. But speaking of keeping people on their toes, Gamers League, with the 2-0 so far, definitely keeping Aesir Esports on their toes as we move into Hanamura. You got a prediction for us coming up for this map, LaFawn?
You will hear me say the word Sakura at least once. And there we go. Prediction completed. I am now 1 for 1 on the day. Excellent work, me, LaFawn. I love it. No, but seriously speaking, I would be very, very surprised if we do not see some form of a barnyard animal, in specifically goats, on this map.
Oh, here was me thinking you were talking about the mecha cow that is Orisa. Well, maybe next time.
Where would you play her on this map? I remember there was a couple of strategies that people used to run with the Hog and the Orisa, and then people realized you could run Rein Zarya just past it, so it didn't really work out that much.
Yeah,
anyway.
buddy, you have never been in PS4 Platinum Ladder where she gets run about 40% of the time.
I can say I was not on PS4 Platinum. That part is true. Yes.
Fine.
PS4
fine.
in general, let secret stay secret.
Yeah. Gamers League, though, coming out with a pretty interesting strategy on defense here with the Doomfist. They're not actually completely eschewing the Rein Zarya tank combos here.
This comp is actually not uncommon, and in fact, we see it quite a bit because it does one thing really, really good. Well, Hanamura has a choke that you have to go through. You don't have a choice. There's only one entranceway, and you can control that between the Doomfist and the Sombra, and then, of course, the dive tanks to help you initiate again. Sombra doing, of course, some scouting in the backline. Citron following the team behind, trying to find some, perhaps some early ult charge here. As a setup here. The hack goes on the Mei. No wall available. They have to retreat, Phil.
Yeah, man, that was a really, really good bit of early positioning there, of course. The Mei looking to get in there, try and just get by a little bit of early space, and we're still on board with the Summer, looking to get in and get a second hack on the back of this. Interesting to see what the choice of target's going to be, but we have got the Engaged coming in. Huge there, with a huge couple of cooldowns invested to get 2 picks, 1 for 1 on cooldowns is pretty good. Manages to not quite get the credit there for bumping the Brigitte off the point, and then Gamers League just in cleanup.
And we see one of the reasons why Doomfist was so desperately strong and why he got hit with the hammer so hard. It's that he provides so much disruption. If he gets in your backline, there's not really a whole lot you can do about it, short of stunning him into oblivion. They don't have those stuns. Again, they don't have anything but the Mei. And then he's able to work on that backline. So a couple of switches coming up. They're going to go for the Moira to allow that fade to come in. And they're going to switch off the Mei. So a couple of changes coming in wholesale here from Aesir.
Yeah, not quite able to get those hacks off there, shielding coming in just in time. But I do like this approach from Aesir Esports, looking to rotate onto the high ground here. Just did this Diva with the cheeky Sombra check, buying some space for the team. Yeah, really, really good stuff there. But Aesir Esports going for this high ground rotation. The Winston misses the jump, not able to get up there and really contest. Gamers League, though, with a couple of key ultimates online, EMP and the Nano Boost online, ready to go. But look at this Scarlet constantly on the hunt for this Sombra, but it's not going to be enough because the EMP comes out. A Biotic Grenade takes out the Lucio, and we're seeing ultimate start to get invested here. But look at that. Sooner stunned into oblivion. It's not going to be enough. The Angry Monkey is on the field, and he looks to be pretty much unkillable. With the Transcendence committed as well, it's just going to buy so much space for Huge and Tuna and everyone else to get in and just completely wreck Aesir Esports Day.
Theoretically, that fight was actually going in Aesir's favor. The EMP was good, but the follow-up was not, and they're unable to really find kills as a result, and that means that when Goat starts to sort of solidify on point, that's when you're most terrified. But unfortunately, the Earthshatter kind of misses and only catches a Sombra. They're unable to get the kill, and so they can't really take advantage of their advantage. Oh god, that's a huge purple.
Yeah,
that's disastrous now for Aesir.
Massive. And the hack onto the rallying Brigitte as well. And the sleep onto the rallying Brigitte means she gets completely left behind by the rest of the team. Tuna and Monoki able to get in there and take out the Diva for the side of Gamers League. That's going to be huge. You don't really want to be in this position because you are a man down and you're trapped in that tiny house on the side. Oh, Lafon, it's pretty bad for Aesir Esports here.
I mean, you simply cannot allow Pierre to get this much value out of the Bionades. It's shutting down these pushes basically single-handedly when you're not able to push in with healing, which this tank comp relies on. And now, with the Diva being hacked, you can't even nullify it.
Yeah, of course, a couple of key ultimates online. We may see that Grab Diva Bomb combo coming out any second now. In fact, there's one EMP online, though. EMP has come out, manages to get 3 Diva Bomb, though. Taking out main support, taking out the Doomfist. They may finally start to see the swap over Citron, though. However, takes out the main tank. But Aesir Esports may finally have done enough here to try and win this point out. And it does look, having invested so much into this fight, that Aesir Esports are finally going to cap.
It's somewhat trite to say it this way, but it turns out Goats is good because it lasts so long. Even the EMP is unable to prevent that sustain as the healers continue to provide that output, and so they hold out that last fight. There's no changes coming from Gamers League here on second, as they're going to continue to run with the comp that they're going with. Aesir trying to play down mid as they just rush to point here. BHP.
Yeah, Aesir Esports committing that Lucio sound barrier just to get in and start doing a bit of work on top of it. We've had the Coalescence come out as well, but this hack onto Scarlet means that they're not quite able to get the hammer down. Comes out, only manages to get 1, but it does allow the cleanup Citron going down as a result of that. But the hack means that we are not quite ready to see that Diva Bomb, that Graviton Surge even coming out. Nothing coming out of that Doomfist ultimate either, and that's a huge bomb, taking out main tank, taking out main support. Aesir Esports looking to have rolled that momentum all the way. They've just got to take out these last few stalls, and this is surely their fight to win. However, that EMP does catch a lot of people, but there's nobody there really to follow up on it. Just make the recon test slightly easier, and we're going to see some stall characters coming out. We've got the Wrecking Ball on the field, everybody just looking to get in and disrupt and just cause too much trouble really for Aesir Esports to regroup. But we've got the rally committed from Aesir Esports, so they may finally start to build some point progress. Halfway there already, 4 on the point. Gamers League just piling in and piling in. I'm going to call this. I think this is pretty much done. Gamers League not going to be able to come back from this.
What I said for point A goes double for point B is they're able, even though they get 1 kill, they're able to keep their main sustain, their main damage alive through that fight. The Zarya stays up, high energy. The rally is committed as well, and they're able to stall out the fight and get back into their power state, which is, of course, long-term fights. So for Aesir, a good understanding of how to take an engagement, and oftentimes when your main tank goes down, teams will call to reset or perhaps play it slow. Aesir recognize that they still have the win condition and continue to play for the fight wins. So an excellent understanding of their timings, of their cooldowns and what they have coming online, and that allows them to complete the map with 303 remaining here. I'm a bit concerned that Gamers League chose to continue running that Doomfist Sombra, especially when they weren't able to find any pickoffs. You know, if you're gonna, there's certain points in time where you have to realize what the enemy team has as their ultimate economy, and it feels like Gamers League just kind of ignored it. Tried to win by using the EMP, but then they used it without people being alive, and they have no combo, no follow up, and we see what the result of that is. They lose the point.
Yeah, but we've got Aesir Esports having made their defensive pick. They're going for the Mei variant on Goats that we've seen them run a couple of times already today. Potentially quite strong on Hanamura just because of the size and the shape of the choke matching up almost exactly with the size and shape of the Mei wall. It's going to be interesting to see whether they can actually leverage this to swap, to trap people and isolate targets, or whether or not Gamers League are just going to be able to move right past that. Maybe a little early to talk about Gamers League composition, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them running this necessarily.
The Sombra is perhaps unlikely. They most likely will use it to scout and then switch.
Okay.
Yeah, there he goes. He translocates back to spawn. There comes the Brigitte, and they're going to go back to the Mei Goats variant. So mirror compositions here on the field. As that choke point, very, very Mei dependent now. As hey, we're back in season 2.
Yeah, look at this clever Mei wall there, meaning that, but it's the counter Mei wall actually does split the team there, and Aesir Esports able to get an early kill with Piero on the Lucio falling down very quickly there, and the rest is just going to follow through. Actually looks like Gamers League are going to commit to this and just try and wall themselves off in a little bit of safety here, but it's not going to be enough. Aesir Esports managing to get a couple of key kills, so not doing well out of that first mirror matchup exchange there. Bathy in particular getting some key kills at the end.
This is going to be pretty good here for Aesir's defenses now. They do have the Shatter, so they have advantage of the next fight in terms of ult economy. And so they will have a win condition established. And we're back. It's kind of funny to see Mei on this point after so long. She used to be a staple here on Hanamura way back in the day.
Yeah, but we are now back into teamfight territory. That wall coming out from Gamers League nice and early, actually managing to... but an even bigger Mei wall does manage to zone out the Reinhardt, but of course, Gamers League getting a couple of key picks there. Both main tanks down for both teams. Interesting to see what the calls are, whether they're going to look for just the continual contest or they're going to go for the reset. And it does look like we're all in, just trying to maybe build a bit of ultimate charge here. Aesir Esports managing to... actually looks like Aesir Esports have got knocked off this point. I was ready to call that the other way, looking at the kills that had come in, but Gamers League looking really strong here.
I suppose it's one way to deal with an ult economy, right? It's just kill the people that have ultimate, and so they can't use it.
Yeah, take control of that ult economy. Bring it into your own hands.
Yeah, that's a little too on the nose for me in terms of analysis. But yeah, they do trap out the Reinhardt with the perfect timing of crowd control, and he's unable to do anything. And so the win condition that was established is no longer available. A very long rotation now from the defense.
Yeah, but maybe an unsuspected rotation, and ultimates pretty abundant on both teams here. We see the rally committed, that Freezer coming out onto the Reinhardt, not really able to do anything, but we've got both Blizzards committed, we've had the Transcendence committed, but Tuna and Pear get the early kills there. Gamers League actually wiping up here. One kill coming in for Aesir Esports. Is it going to be enough? It looks like we are going to see Gamers League able to set up on the point and just start fighting these recon tests. And look, aggression coming in for Gamers League, pushing right up to the left-hand spawn. It's not going to be enough, maybe slightly in the wrong place there, but every time somebody throws... but that's huge. Tuna going down nice and early to that Brigitte, and we've seen the stall pick starting to come in. Frozen Reinhardt sent back to spawn, and Gamers League still with a presence on this point. Whether or not Aesir Esports can continue to make any use of this stall remains to be seen.
They are slowly starting to eke out the fight, though, our Gamers League, as the kills come in. It looked touchy for a bit, but they do get the kills, the stuns, the sleeps, or actually not sleeps, the freezes. As they finally get the final blow on SFX. Scarlet will try and contest with the Hammond, but it's only a matter of time as the Earth Shatter is committed.
Yeah,
the contest is no longer available.
Sooner just lighting up that kill feed, and there we go, pushing right the way to spawn and managing still a Graviton at the end just to ensure that even though we're out of time, Aesir Esports cannot come in for the recon test. So 2-2 on Hanamura.
2-2 on Hanamura, but it is in fact Gamers League who start with more time than is allotted in the normal occurrence of things. 4:45 on the clock for them. And so now Aesir will have a second round of attack, 3:03, of course, on the clock, as we mentioned earlier. It comes down to this. The fact is, Aesir was actually really close to bringing that one back on that second point. They were very, very close. I think it was perhaps 1 kill away from bringing it back, but the sound barrier unfortunately comes in time and is and they're unable to cleave through that. So, it comes down to those moments when ultimates, just 10% away. And sometimes you don't think 10% is a lot, but in the middle of a team fight that's as close as that one is, it's an eternity, and 10% can be the life and death of a team fight.
Yeah, when these compositions are as brawly as they are, then the margins for success and the margins for whether or not an ultimate is worth committing are absolutely razor thin. Gamers League, though, they're picking this comp that we saw coming out last time with the Doomfist Sombra. Seemed to work for them fairly well. Do we think Aesir Esports have it in them to make the adaptations they need to counter it?
Well, they're going to do the scout here, as Scarlet's going to choose to go to the Sombras. They're going to walk forward and see what the enemy team is running, which is good. You want to make sure to actually figure out what the other team is committing to, as Citron continues to scout out.
Yeah, I'd love to hear the comms at this point just to see what exactly is being communicated between those two teams. We've going on to the Moira Goats. We saw that work pretty well for Aesir in that last round once they made that swap and they were able to just get in and brawl on point. Interesting to see whether Gamers League can actually take any value out of this. They are being chased, or maybe not even chased, maybe leading a merry chase going up into the house, looking for the rotation up onto the balcony. They've seen this again work as a way just to stay out of the sightlines, but this time the monkey jump again, not actually connecting, meaning they're not able to body block and get in and do the key damage that is required. So Aesir Esports making their way to the choke almost uncontested. A big nade though means that healing is offline, and there we go, we had the first, it's not a kill, but we've got the D-Mech coming in sooner with the follow-up. Gamers League, this is definitely their fight to win here. Those grenades are absolutely huge in picking apart this team comp, but huge going down in that fight as well. A lot of damage and crowd control off, and Aesir Esports with this Moira Goats are looking pretty fearsome here.
So despite every opportunity to lose this fight, Aesir will take it. As if you're PA, you're pretty frustrated because there was, I think, 4 bio nades in this first point he's hit that were massive and couldn't be taken advantage of. This is those cases. I have to say, huge shout out to Scarlet of the Zarya variety. Excellent spy check to reveal Citron. They're unable to get the hack off in time, and so that means they're able to walk in for free. As Ultimate going to be committed here. Primal Rage and Nano Boost at the same time.
Yeah, and of course, up on the balcony, a huge grenade manages to get almost all of that team, but huge there, managing to take out the Reinhardt, and they've just gone the final kill there with the boost jet onto the Zarya. Everybody else opting to just take a dive, as Gamers League do manage to halt that progress for Aesir Esports.
Excellent choice to reset there. They have 1:35 remaining, and 2 key ultimates, in fact, off the board here now for the defenses. This next fight is going to all depend on whether this EMP and combination and self-destruct combination can be effective. Graviton Surge slowly coming online, as is the self-destruct, of course, for Aesir, so they do have their win condition coming soon, and they need SFX to stay hidden from this EMP.
Yeah, and of course, Scarlet on the Diva, again, doing some really good Sombra checking. Citron just smart enough to keep out of range of that. Translocator goes down, going to be looking for the EMP. This is going to be the EMP bomb coming out. There we go, it's online. Bomb comes out, finds 3 with the follow-up there from the rest of the team. Gamers League of the really clear engagement there.
Well, that was a very explosive combination, and one that I think it's easy to get excited about flashy plays, but it's a set play. All 6 lined up for the team. EMP is clean. Self-destruct hits the corner perfectly, and they win that fight out with only 2 ultimates. And now they bought time for the Nano Boost to be brought online. So Transcendence and Nano Boost are going to have to be fight wins here, but the offense now has ultimates to work with. Rally close. Every other ultimate is nearly there as well. So there is a lot here, but that is a huge start.
Yeah, those grenades from Pierre are absolutely massive, getting 3 or 4 every time. D-Bomb comes in, does take out main tank. That is a big opening, but of course, the recon test speed is going to be so big for Gamers League that if they need to get in here and start doing that, look at that, a melee kill with the main tank for Aesir Esports going down. That's going to spell disaster with the rest of the team crumbling around that main tank. just going EMP committed to the fight. Not entirely sure that was necessary in what looked to be a one fight, but it is overtime. If you've got ults and you want to use them now whilst you've still got chance. Nothing worse than coming out of a map that you win with ults still in the bank, because you could have made some even more impressive plays of the game. Gamers League on clear up here. It's all over bar the crying.
SFX, there he goes. Scarlet, down the D.Va goes as well. Overtime will tick away. Not even a tick getting earned. And unfortunately, that fight comes down to the Doomfist. Unfortunately for Aesir, of course, is that the tank, Empty Destroyer, had Earthshatter, was in the process of casting Earthshatter, and then a Rocket Punch comes in and stuns him out of it. So they don't get value from that ultimate. And of course, the Self-Destruct and Graviton Surge combo finds only 1 kill. So, you know, there's a lot that gets lost in that first fight. I mean, we only have to look at that first micro play as they're walking over the bridge to get onto point. The punch comes in, and then Citron gets the cleanup on, I believe, I think it was the Zen. Regardless, it gets to pick off very early on one hero. I'm misremembering which one exactly, but that first hero goes down. You're already 5v6 on an assault map, on second point, with an ultimate economy at disadvantage. It's a struggle. And then, you know, the Earthshatter gets, and then the Graviton Surge combo doesn't get value. The Earthshatter gets stunned, and, you know, Transcendence is there to clean up. It's just, there's a lot there that Aesir gets unlucky with, but for Gamers League, there's now your win condition is set. You have to take 1 1/3 point to win this match. We're their match point, so there is, you know, it's a 2-0 of course for Gamers League, because they're gonna set up. We might actually see. It looks like we might see the a good old-fashioned Farah Hanzo. I don't know if you can call this dive exactly, but certainly Farah Hanzo mobile tanks.
Yeah, dive-ish. Let's call it dive-ish. Scarlet there was looking on that high ground to get a bit of early information with that third-person perspective. So we've actually got the pocket Farah here, so you've got to really watch out for those rockets. Aesir Esports taking an incredibly defensive position here, but the Gamers League have so many angles on them, just managing to get in through that window and pressure the shield, pressure everybody in there. Early kill though, Mount Destroy going down, and I keep saying it because I'm unoriginal and I only have 2 or 3 things I can say, but that main tank going down early in that fight is absolutely massive. Aesir Esports are really going to struggle to come down from that. And a boop kill. The boop kill sends the Brigitte falling into the depths of the Hanamura streets below. Gamers League take this 1 fight and everything to play for. Huge amount of ults in the bank. Oh, nearly in the bank, sorry.
This comp excels at one thing and one thing alone. And that's not true actually, but it excels at a very specific point, and that is you surround the enemy team, you provide pressure from multiple angles. You can't actually shield that much damage, and especially against a Mei composition, you're unable to get the hit scan pressure on the Farah. You're unable to get the D.Va pressure on the Farah. And something a lot of people don't realize is D.Va and Zen together do a lot of damage to the aerial combat. But without those two, you're left hoping that she just doesn't spam rockets at you. And unfortunately for Aesir, Huge just does not comply.
Oh, the disrespect with the Sonic Arrow kill there, taking out that Widowmaker almost in 1 shot. Sooner there with a follow-up kill onto the Genji. We have had the barrage committed. They've only got to get this 1 tick, and that barrage was huge, taking out both healers. Gamers League winning that pretty convincingly.
Pretty convincingly, and that will in fact be the same can be said for the match, as it's now just a matter of cleaning the stagger kills out. And with 3:20 remaining and no ultimates available, Aesir, it's all over but the crying. The sound barrier is committed. They do get it on 3 main tanks, but they need to find more value. They need to find more kills, and they're just not coming through here. Yeah, as the Scarlet gets demeched here at BHP.
Yeah, D.Va Bomb scares everybody off point, but not really enough to secure kills. But Citron there scoring the demech and the kill onto the D.Va. In fact, Citron doing a huge amount of work on his Hanzo, getting key picks, buying enough space for the Mercy Rest, but the Mercy going down almost immediately after at the same time and sooner. So Citron needs to do some really heavy lifting here. The Dragon's committed, but nobody really left on point to follow up with it. Citron does get a follow-up kill, saying goodbye to the Tracer, but Gamers League forced off that point, having committed
I want to actually say that is the first instance I've ever had of caster cursing someone that badly, because they had an opportunity. They should have won that fight.
Yeah.
And you know what comes in? One of the best stagger fights I've ever seen. You cannot establish. They come in with sound barrier. That's really all they've got. They turn it around into 4 kills. They bring in 4 kills off a sound barrier. How often do you see that? That's insane.
It's not traditionally an offensive, but there we go. They found a way to make it one. Ultimates online not looking particularly heavy for either team. We do have the Transcendence for Gamers League. They're going to try and just use that to maybe cancel out. But Citron going down early on that Brigitte means that's going to be really hard for Gamers League to push in the back of this. Transcendence committed as well does enable a kill on to the Brigitte, but whether or not that's going to be enough remains to be seen. Just Ultimates committed here. Gamers League throwing everything they've got into this fight, and Suna going down again very early in that team fight. Aesir Esports able to clean up with Gamers League here.
Yeah, a little bit of misplay there, I think, by Tsuna. He gets a little too aggressive in how he chooses to engage with the Primal Rage. Goes down very quickly. That being said, they do get a couple of ultimates out from the defense, so it's not all wasted, of course. The only problem is now they have to build up. They have a combo coming up online, but the same is said for Aesir. They do have the Graviton Surge and Self-Destruct available very shortly. And so
Yes.
it will win. The map will hinge on which team gets theirs executed first.
Yeah, exactly right, Lafon. And we're going again for this low ground rotation, rather than coming to main, rather than coming up the stairs, where it looks like Aesir Esports were expecting them. 60 seconds left on the clock. This needs to be a really, really clean fight. Dean Bomb good, but Aesir Esports managing to find key kills with 50 seconds left on the clock. We may see this go to a draw.
This is a very odd. This is not the Gamers League we saw from the first two maps, and frankly, it's not the same Aesir we saw from the first two maps either. Excellent coordination, excellent patience too. We say this very often with GOATs, but sometimes you have to just be that little extra moment patient, and it proves to be very, very effective as they find the Zen out of position. They find Manoxy, and they just win the fight out now. Graviton Surge still available though, and it's committed.
And it comes out. Diva Bomb coming in on top of it. The Monkey Bubble has gone, but nothing coming out for that Diva Bomb. Sound Barrier committed here, just trying to keep the rest of the team alive, but Citron going down is going to make this incredibly difficult for them. They've only got to get there. They must be so frustrated just to need that one tick and not be able to get it. Aesir Esports taking out the Lucio. That's going to be incredibly hard to come back from. Two supports down, and the D-Mech, and the main tank, and the off tanks all going down. Aesir Esports with an incredible defense here.
That is Athena, music to my ears, a draw. I wish I had like at least 10 more minutes minimum to go over that last fight alone. Never mind the entire map, just that last fight, because it was spectacular. We can see the play of the game here from the Zenyatta in the Transcendence, keeping the team alive. That was excellent play. The Graviton Surge there. You'd think Graviton Surge with Self-Destruct is going to be enough to win out a fight, but no. The bubbles are there perfectly. Support ultimates are timed impeccably. They win it out, and then Scarlet is given free reign with the high energy Zarya to take control of the fight and hold out on Hanamura for the draw, you know, calling for a map number 4. So Ilios is going to be our next look, as we have to get that tiebreaker again. Hanamura, I did not expect to be here. I'll be honest. After the first two maps, I didn't think Aesir was going to have a very competitive Hanamura, but they do, and they tighten up their gameplay massively on that second point on B in a draw fashion. Again, that's 4 minutes that was left on the clock, just about, that you know, Gamers League had to work with, and after a very fast point A take, I was not expecting the point B to stagger out that much.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was. And to be honest, I'd be surprised if Aesir were expecting that level of stagger in that fight there. But, you know, coming back to what I said, I think after Busan, after we saw them pick up after that first map, maybe this is just a team that needs a little while to get the motor running, to get up to speed. So I'm going to be very interested to see how they perform in this next map and whether we can actually force a draw from this.
There are worse positions to be in. You know, you've proven that you can fight Gamers League to a standstill, and now you have to take over them. So this could perhaps be the start of said comeback. And for Aesir, the opportunity is there. Scarlet looked very impressive on that last map. Across the heroes that was played, it was not, you know, just the Zarya, but a couple of other heroes. So very impressive gameplay from these two teams. Again, if you're Aesir, you have to be pleased that you were able to draw that much time off the clock in a draw. It's not, you know, the most ideal situation, but you take the small victories where you can. And for Gamers League, you're kind of shaken after that first two maps, or you have to prevent yourself from being shaken, rather, because after you stomp the first two maps, being drawn that far can be very frustrating sometimes. So yeah, you got to just keep it in your mind that you're still, you know, in a better position, and to continue into this next map, to get the victory. But Aesir definitely see a light of victory of possibility.
Ooh, excuse me, everybody. Not quite functioning at my best, and I didn't mean to cough into your ears. Yeah, I think you raised some really, really interesting points there. And I think the thing I have enjoyed seeing in this map is Gamers League opting not to just run the triple tank, triple support lineup that we see so often at this level of play, but, you know, actually flexing onto some DPS picks, allowing their nominal DPS players to actually play DPS characters. And it did look like it was starting to work out for them. Of course, they were forced to swap onto a more regular triple tank, triple support lineup at the end there. Do you think there was any value to them in trying to hold on to that hold on to that DPS lineup just to try and force more big ult combos, or did they make the right decision that it just didn't work out for them?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, I think is perhaps the best way of putting it, because they've shown strength on both, right? It's not like, you know, they're failing outright on whatever comp they choose to run. And so I would say it comes down to execution at the end of the day. And I think the execution fell apart at the last moment. So that would be the difference maker for me.
Yeah, but we are now going on to Ilios, and we've seen certainly in our earlier King of the Hill maps, Gamers League very much have the upper hand in this map type. It's going to be interesting now that we have seen them a bit warmed up, whether Aesir Esports can force us all the way to the best of 3 on this map type. Certainly going to be looking forward to seeing what they pull out of the gates.
Well, we are going to be on Lighthouse of all places, so I would not be surprised to see tanks. You know, with the point being closed off, you can still do a lot of damage with that tank lineup, but just as much you can do damage with the range composition. So both these starting players, or both these starting compositions, viable. So I'm excited to see how this Pharah Hanzo turn it around.
Yeah, we certainly saw them get some good value out of that in the first round. Aesir Esports obviously opting for this Zen Goats, so we are going to have a little bit of pressure onto the Pharmacy combo here, but it's going to be very difficult to try and dislodge with the composition that they've got. The Pharmacy combo here taking some really early position, and wow, before I can even get to warming up for this fight, Citron there taking lots of people out. Aesir Esports knowing when they're done, tanks going down into the depths, and yeah, wow, Gamers League just brushed aside Aesir Esports like they weren't even there.
It may as well have not been, and we're going to see some wholesale changes now as a result. They see that the Hanzo Pharah is in play, so they're going to just lose the fight very cleanly, come back in with dive, and hope to take this Pharah out of the sky with the Widowmaker. But now, he's just been playing a very passive angle as he comes in, trying to find this Pharah. This Pharah doesn't even see him, and they're going to execute this dive instantly as a result.
The Dragon coming out already charged incredibly quickly, and just look at how far up Gamers League are playing. They are so close to Aesir Esports spawn there. Yeah, Aesir Esports really need to up the game if they're going to do this, and that's, yeah, again, 2 really, really convincing fights from Gamers League, and we've got the Nano online for the next fight.
Nano online, Barrage closely following, as is the Primal Rage. So, actually, they're going to just engage. That Nano Boost goes on to the Hanzo? Okay.
Yeah, looked like that might have been a little bit of a misfire there. I think Hanzo just getting into the line, but that Barrage coming out does take out main tank, gets the D-Mech as well with the boop kill there. The Angry Monkey managing to smash the Baby Diva into the ground. Aesir Esports once again looking, you hate to say it, but kind of outclassed in this fight.
Well, I mean, 3 ultimates will do that to you, right? Barrage,
yeah,
they use Barrage, they use Primal, and they use the Nano Boost as well. The only problem is now another swap coming in here from Aesir. They're off the Genji now to the Pharah Mercy, so they don't like what they're seeing. Oh no, Empty Destroy takes so much damage on the entryway, and he goes down instantly, BHP. This fight has already been disastrous.
Yeah, absolutely, just clearly knowing their win condition is take out MT Destroy, and the rest of the team is going to crumble. But they are looking to try and keep invested in this fight. We've got the Infocytes committed to the fight. Not entirely sure it has a huge amount of value in a fight like this. Nano boosted Diva coming in, ready for the team fight. We have seen both tanks manage to take possession on point there. We've got the Diva Bomb online. That's going to help in securing a lot of control of this space once the mech goes down. There we go, Diva Bomb committed, but the Baby Diva taken out on the back of it, and nothing coming in for that Diva Bomb. We have managed to get the res in that Mercy in and man out super quick, manages to bring the Winston back into the fight, who immediately takes... Well, Kill's just trading back and forth quicker than I can even keep up with this. It is red and blue alternating, and it's not going to be enough with Gamers League taking that 100-0.
There was a little bit of a ring around the rosy there between the Mercy and the Ana in the corner. And I'm just chuckling about that because it's actually really funny.
In England, we'd have the Benny Hill theme playing under that, but that's maybe not an international
I
reference.
actually think that's everyone gets that these days.
Fine.
The internet's a powerful thing. Powerful thing. That being honestly, that first map was a bit of a study in how not to play counters. Aesir, they theoretically don't like what they see, so they switch up, but then they just can't ever get to a point where they take the fight. And by the point that they do, it's already too late. They have no way to contest the point, so it's going to be a loss. Now, some switches coming in yet again. It is going to be...
I think Gamers League are playing mind games here. I think Gamers League think that Aesir Esports think that they're going to be running a DPS comp, but no, they're of course running the Zen Goats, so throwing all of those DPS into that meaty tank lineup is going to be really hard for Aesir Esports. Let's see if they can crack the nut that is Gamers League to take us to 1-1 on Ilios. It's not looking particularly great. It does seem like Aesir Esports are struggling to really take possession, and of course MT Destroy going down so early on in the fight. The Lucio there taking out his opposite off support number. Then Yada going down early. Gamers League pushing Aesir Esports right the way back once again.
MT Destroy going... Man, that Super Mercury Con was actually almost really good for the side of Aesir. Man, tripping over my tongue here. But now they're going to switch off the McCree. They're going to go to full-on Goats. It's going to be the Zen Goats, of course. And with the Reinhardt. So they do have the main tank theoretical advantage against this Winston, assuming that they can prevent the cleave.
Yeah, one thing that they don't have... Oh, actually, no, maybe they do. We do have the Sound Barrier online, but the Graviton also online. Lots coming out. In comes the Diva. In comes the Reinhardt. Oh, come on, Phil. In comes the Winston even. Looking to get a couple of kills there, but so many support alls committed to this fight. That's really going to help Gamers League just survive through whatever Aesir Esports are going to throw at them. We've only had two ultimates, sorry, for Gamers League committed. And again, they chase Aesir Esports right the way back to spawn, getting those stagger kills in. What can Aesir Esports do to try and crack this?
You know what? Sure. That was just an exclamation point on your statement there, BHP. Providing the grandeur to your statement. No, but I have to say, again, keep in mind, 40% remaining here on Aesir's chances in this match. Again, this is match point. So they need to be playing a lot tighter than this. Suna goes very low early on.
Yeah, absolutely. But we do have the Graviton, and we've got the Shatter, so a couple of really key ults in turn of this fight. Graviton committed, does secure the D-Mech onto the Baby Diva. We've got kills coming alive. Aesir Esports finally doing some stuff. But, man, SFX with the triple, with the quad there even. SFX playing DPS Lucio like only SFX knows how to do. They're finally starting to dislodge Gamers League here. And yeah, Aesir Esports finally able to turn this around. Have they actually capped point though? Anybody on there? Yeah, there we go. They have capped point, but 2 ultimates left in line for Aesir Esports. Nothing for Gamers League, forcing a lot of swaps here.
Unfortunately, this is going to be pretty tough for MT Destroy because he has the Earth Shatter, but they're playing against a comp that's very mobile and does not play close angles. He's going to have to get a Shatter on maybe 1, maybe 2 to have value here. That's all they can do. That's all they can hope for. Yeah, he's going to go for the backline. That's all he can really achieve.
Yeah. Hammer down gets 2, but huge there with a huge kill onto the Brigitte means that a lot of that healing, a lot of that sustain is gone from Aesir Esports composition, and they forced the Transcendence. Transcendence coming out, so we have seen the kill Sooner going down early in that fight, but maybe Gamers League have already done it enough. But no, Aesir Esports, this is really going back and forth here. Aesir Esports are just going to do everything they can to try and build as much progress on this fight as possible. Gamers League look like they have had to back off a little bit here. Very close to Huge having this barrage online with a little bit of support from the rest of the team. This could be a huge fight turning ultimate.
Huge is actually playing Groundfire for the moment, trying to play... He's playing Peak with the Widowmaker, and it's kind of successful so far. As then they send the Winston in, of course, BHP to chase him off the high ground as the barrage is committed.
Yeah, Barrage comes in, but just does manage to take out the Widowmaker. That's going to make playing that Pharah so much easier. But man, Scarlet right up into the face of the Pharah takes them down on that Diva. Graviton Surge committed as well. We have seen the res come out, and the Dragon, Huge Dragon, buys a lot of space for the rest of the team to get in there and get kills. Gamers League look like they have flipped this. They cannot surely lose the fight at this point. Huge doing so much heavy lifting, putting his team on their back. to try and secure that point there. They secure the flip. We're in one fight territory, Lafon. What's going to happen?
Well, this Widowmaker needs to find a shot like right now. The Sonic Arrow is going to chase Steve away, and so can't quite find the victory he's looking for in that battle versus the Hanzo. Oh, that is so scary. As the Winston playing a little bit passively. Now they're going to try and engage on him directly, BHP, in overtime now as the fight commences.
Yeah, Aesir Esports have got to pull out something fairly miraculous here, but losing the Widowmaker and losing main tank, I really don't think there's anything Aesir Esports can do. They did incredibly well to hold on to that point for as long as they could, but 3 down, just the poor D.Va and the Moira left on point is not going to be enough, especially if they can secure these staggers. We may see a recon test coming in, but I think it's incredibly unlikely that there's anything done with that. That zoning dragon closes out the fight, and Gamers League take Ilios and take the series.
Gamers League winning this one out all the way with a 3-0 as they take it. The scoreline, of course, does not say exactly what happened as we see SFX, that play that you highlighted, going to come into the play of the game as we see the frag from Lucia. Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah. Couple of
that is actually really nice.
Juicy headshots there from Lucia, and the almost casual turnaround boop kill onto Huge on the Zarya. Just the nice icing on the cake there.
That being said, Aesir do go out, they do go down, so Gamers League take that victory, and I think this one here was pretty much a, it was as one side as they go. Aesir had moments, I will admit, but Gamers League rather were the better team throughout this match, and it showed. Hanamura was the only place that they stumbled, and frankly, the rest of the other maps were kind of in Gamers League favor pretty much the entire time. That Route 66 especially, it was a full hold on first, and they come in and they recontest very, very cleanly, and no trouble there. Then they come to Ilios, and they 2-0 on that map as well to win out the tiebreaker and put themselves at victory. So with that, BHP, I think we can safely say that Gamers League looking a little bit stronger at the end of this match.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned a stumble on Hanamura, but frankly, to stumble your way to a draw is still a flight above stumbling your way to a loss. So yeah, looking really, really strong throughout that entire series. What do you think? You know, if you had to narrow down one characteristic of what happened in that in the team fights that we saw, what was it that Gamers League had that Aesir didn't?
Tempo and aggression. When you control the speed of the game, you often control how the game actually plays out. And Gamers League was always minus that second point on Hanamura. We're always in the control of how fast the game was being played. Aesir just could never keep up to speed. And on top of that, think about that. The heroes were getting switched constantly, and that always threw Aesir for a loop. So I think Gamers League just very much in control of the tempo of the game.
Yeah, and I think it's very impressive to see that the Gamers League are not the sort of one-trick team that we occasionally see in Open Division who are just very good at running goats. They do have those DPS lineups, and so I think I mentioned on that second round of Ilios, maybe a little bit of a mind game thing going on there with Gamers League coming out of the gates, having run the DPS comp on the first map, suddenly swapping onto the goats composition. I think I quite like that level of mind game, if that's what it was. I think it's really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure. And, now they move onwards and upwards. So for Gamers League, brighter things await. Aesir will have to wait till another time.
Yeah, and speaking of brighter things, we're going to go to our bright, breezy, and mostly bearded panel of analysts. So guys, let us know what you think about the game that we just saw.
Thank you very much, Phil and Lafon. Yes, as they said quite correctly, this was a very convincing victory from Gamers League, and my panels are eager to talk about a couple of specific things, but let's just jump into the juicy bits. Naori, I know you want to talk about them supports.
I'm going to start with mostly bearded. That hurt. Anyway, the main thing that I want to highlight here is the anti-nades that were coming through from Gamer League. Holy wow. The amount of anti-nades that just completely shut down pushes before they'd even begun. Yeah. D.Va, what were you doing? You have a defense matrix. You've got to be looking out for that. You know they have an Ana. Like, when that anti-nade comes in and it stops you dead and it ruins your push and it sends you straight back to spawn. That's not how you're supposed to be doing that, right? You've got to be looking out for that, because the moment the anti-nade comes in, that's all your healing gone. You can Rambo in there as much as you want, but you're gonna die because nothing can keep you alive. Not even Moira, with her immense and crazy AoE heal, will keep you alive through that until the anti-nade is gone. And by the time it runs out, half your team is dead. Seriously. This is less about the diva play and more about the Ana play. The angles, the timing. I mean, there are so many shields involved. There's Reinhardts and Winstons and Brigidas, and there's so much shielding there. So for these two Ana players, Pyrig and Monoxy, to be getting so many fat anti-nades, really well played, really good positioning there from you guys. Well done.
Yeah, and speaking of supports, actually, SFX really impressed me throughout. I think there was one fat finger on Route 66 that were like, "Ooh, what happened there?" But there was a clutch sound barrier on Hanamura when Aesir were pushing through. One of those clutch anti-nades landed, all very low health, and SFX just managed to hit that Q button and keep the rest of their team alive on Hanamura there. So that was fantastic. And in that last match, we saw that play of the game, right? How casual was that boop? Those are the play of the games that you love to see.
They were certainly very much very confident boops as well, and just also being able to just notice that, like, instead of just tactically letting them just tactically reset, using the boops to be able to gain that ult energy is something that is just a very hard read from a player. But let's also talk about some other amazing players, because I know we also wanted to talk about the tanks as well. Kasuna, my gosh, that was some pretty crazy earth shatters, and also we were hoping that we were going to see a play of the game on that Hanamura. Naori, let's start with you once again. Cycle around.
So the biggest thing that I noticed was how many resources were being pummeled into Tasuna, especially when he was on that Reinhardt. He had the Harmony Orb, the Zarya bubble. There was so much protection for him, very much so on Hanamura. We saw a little bit on Ilias as well, but very prominent on Hanamura, keeping him alive, because you have to remember that your GOAT composition is pivoted around your Reinhardt. When he lives, then your chances of success are magnanimous in comparison. So you plow all of your resources into him, and he just swings. And he swings and swings and gets like 6 kills because you're allowing him to stay alive. And especially when the enemy team, when Aesir their target prioritization is not as good as it could be, it just gave him so much free reign to do whatever the hell he wanted.
Yeah. And there's 2 points there, actually, Nari, that I specifically agree on here. You're talking about the resources that were being pumped into Games League's Reinhardt, right? But they were also pumping a lot of resources into the enemy Reinhardt. MT Destroy just had such a hard time destroying because they were dying a lot, but it wasn't really their fault, you know. The bubbles were going on them, all the little cooldowns you try and keep as Aesir's Reinhardt alive. And then as soon as those cooldowns have been used, specifically the Zarya bubble there, the whole of Gamers League just collapsed upon their enemy with that tempo, with that aggression, destroyed it, MT Destroy. And then it's a 6v5, and they won out on those fights. So, like, fantastic work there from the tanks.
So, and the long and short of it is even if you're running the same composition, sometimes really just having that team synergy within your own team, apart from just the heroes themselves, it's kind of huge. So, really well done, showing that 3 months of being together does put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears if you really give it the TLC it needs. But I think that's roughly about us from here. Any last minute thoughts you would like to give, Niori?
One thing that I would like to just advise Gamer League on is to be aware that on live patch, Doomfist, his nerfs have come through and he's not as effective against goats. You guys were the better team today. You made it work, and I'm not taking anything away from Huge. He lived up to his name. He was huge. But just to keep that in mind, the nerfs have come through. His jump is a little bit shorter and his meteor strike is a little bit smaller. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your goats counters.
Fair enough. Those are very wise words to Gamers League. And Spaceman?
I just want to wish both teams the best of luck, specifically Gamers League here, because they could very well be in playoff contentions now. And I'm hoping we get to see more of them in future.
Yeah, I hope so too. I just hope to see a more great, amazing Overwatch, which you can if you drop a follow at Broadcast.gg. Thank you very much to everybody that came on here. Thank you to our casters, Big Hungry Phil and LaFawn. And also thank you to our broadcaster, Toadette, for putting on great production. And also thank you to my wonderful analyst, Spaceman Miori, for putting on through and withstanding the test of time and being able to talk about Overwatch day in and day out. I've been your host, Bemi, and we will see you in the next match. Goodbye for now.